People's Realtor here, and today we're going to be going on a little tour of Stoney Creek, Ontario. As you may know, I've talked about it before in other videos. Stoney Creek is a suburb just on the east of Hamilton here, right along the lake. And right now I'm standing in front of Battlefield Castle. Stoney Creek's got a lot of history to it. In the War of 1812, the Americans tried to come up here and take over, and Billy Green the Scout up on the escarpment warned the British that they were coming, so they fought here on this battlefield, which is now a historical site. And a lot of cool history here. Every first weekend of June every year they do a reenactment, which is really cool to bring your family around. But yeah, Stoney Creek is a great suburb, very family friendly, and you got kind of all sorts of different areas. You got the beach strip, you go up the escarpment, you got the countryside, and then you got Stoney Creek downtown proper. It's got great, small town vibes, but at the same time, you're still in Southern Ontario, you're still in the mix of it all, right? So stay tuned, follow along. We're going to be taking a nice little tour. And if you've ever thought about Stoney Creek or moving there, or it's always been on your mind, make sure you watch. And if you are thinking about moving, maybe to Stoney Creek or wherever, Hamilton, surrounding areas. My name is Joy D'Ambrosio. I'm the People's Realtor. You give me a call and tell me 1, 2, 3 things. I'm going to put you exactly where you want to be, all right? So stay tuned and let's get into it. So like I was saying, we are at Battlefield Historical Site. Infamous battle, one of the bloodiest of the War of 1812, took place right here on these grounds. And, back then, all there was this house and a castle we were looking back at over there. So Stoney Creek, what is it? Where is it? What's it like? What's it cost? Let's talk a little bit about it. We are in the heart of it right here. And just to my right over there, we see King Street, which is kind of the main street that cuts right through Stoney Creek. So if you got Carly's OTB, if you want to do a little off-track betting, we got the Village Restaurant, great chicken Caesar wrap, the Powerhouse, some great establishments there, great food, good people, and it's just kind of like a nice little bit more bustling, I'd say, than Grimsby or Beamsville, which is just along the QEW to the east. But yeah, it's a nice little town. It has exploded, right? Just like all these surrounding areas in the city with developments and people moving here. So the roads have gone a little bit busier, but I think the overall same character of the place is intact, and it's a great little spot if you want to move with your family and still be able to easily access the QEW if you got to go to Toronto, or if you want to go to the States or St. Catharines. You're kind of right in the middle of that with great highway access. And I know we did a video about Grimsby not too long ago, and it's kind of the same thing, right? Both these places are right on the QEW, so it's big with people who have to commute, who have to wake up and go somewhere, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, if they got to travel out of the city. So if you do got to commute, Stoney Creek is a great choice for you. And behind me now, you can see this is called the Gage House. This house used to be over on Nash Road, which is not too far from here, but I don't know how long ago, but at some point they came, picked up the whole house and moved it here. So this whole area is this nice, beautiful historical site. It's super nice, super serene. And then you got, Stoney Creek proper kind of surrounding the place. And, being along the escarpment, we do got a ton of good trails, waterfalls, lost to sea. We got the Bruce Trail that cuts right through, which is a nice hike. And there's really no shortage of places to explore and walk around. Nature, a lot of good nature walks around here. So definitely keep that in mind if you're thinking about making the move. So there's a nice trail, you walk along. To my left, there's the Devil's Punch Bowl. It's a waterfall, and it looks like a punch bowl, that's what I call it, right? It's a big kind of bowl. So that's to my left, it's right here. So here, as you can see, is the punch bowl. You can get down there, you can hike along that area, and it goes all the way out, and you can get into Lower Stoney Creek from down here. Actually, I've done it many times as a young lad, and usually right there's a waterfall, but as you can see, it's dry right now. But it's pretty cool, and the cool thing is you got this nice waterfall here As you can see why they call it the punch bowl. It kind of looks like it's carved out into a bowl. But it's also pretty cool because right here, as you can see, there's this big cross that overlooks Stony Creek. So if you walk up on here, if you're down there, you can see this thing. It's lit up, you know, at nighttime. You can see it from, you know, Hamilton and all that stuff. But this is a really nice spot. As you can see, there's benches, but look at that. You got an overlook of Stony Creek. Those buildings over there. You got Hamilton. You can see. And yeah, here it is in all its glory, right? Across the way, you got Toronto. That way, you can see the Skyway Bridge. Takes you to Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga. And of course, you can see our steel factories there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the screen, but this is a very cool spot. And yeah, like I said, if you look down here, you can kind of see these trails. They're a little bit treacherous. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've done the climb, but there are some beautiful hiking trails down there, and like I said, it'll just spit you out right into Stoney Creek, and that's downtown Stoney Creek right there. Battlefield Castle right there where we were a little bit earlier, and then of course the beach over there, Lake Ontario. And that's Stoney Creek in all of its glory, right? As far as the eye can see, well, as far as the eye can see, you can see Toronto, Burlington, Mississauga, Hamilton downtown over here, but we are at the top of the escarpment, as I always talk about. And thanks for watching. Stoney Creek is a great spot. Highly recommended to any families out there looking to plant their seed somewhere. It's a great family place, tons to explore, great shops, great food. So if you are thinking about moving, or you know, planning on making a move to Stoney Creek or anywhere, Southern Ontario in general, give me a call. I'd love to help you. My name is Joy Ambrosio. I'm the People's Realtor. You just got to tell me 1, 2, 3 things that you like in a place. We're going to narrow that down for you. We're going to put you exactly where you want to be. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. All right, we took a little drive south, and now we are at the beautiful Stoney Creek Hamilton Strip, Confederation Park. Right now we're pretty much right outside of Hutch's on the beach, which is fish and chips. You know, by all accounts, very good fish and chips. And we were also just walking past Baranga's on the beach, which is just a short drive away, which is a great little bar if you want to go for some drinks. They got a couple volleyball nets, which are really nice. To be honest with you, the food is a little bit to be desired, but beautiful patio if you want to go relax, have a couple drinks, look at the lake. Of course, we have beautiful Lake Ontario behind me. I don't know if you can see in the shot, but we can see the CN Tower clear cut across there. And you know, on a clear day, you're going to be able to see it pretty much anywhere along Stony Creek, near the water. You know, Burlington right over there, Skyway Bridge. And yeah, like I said, we were just outside of Hutch's. Hutch's, old famous local spot, been in business forever. Foot-long hot dogs, good stuff. So like I was saying, this is the whole beach area. Confederation Park, you got Wild Waterworks, Hutch's on the beach, Baranga's Bar and Grill, and you also got Adventure Village if you want to go mini putting. Some fun stuff there, but it's very big. Tons of people have picnics here on the weekends, hang out. There's some barbecues you can use, I believe. One thing about this whole beach area that I wish was a little different is the accessibility. Just like feels really cut off from the rest of Stoney Creek. You know, it's kind of a one road in kind of thing. And you know, where we just were at Battlefield, that was kind of downtown Stoney Creek. So you travel south, and there's a bit of like a, you know, you hit the highway, but there's also like this kind of industrial sector there. So, you it really does, it doesn't really flow into the beach area. And you know, I grew up in Stoney Creek, 5-10 minutes away from here, and we didn't come here all that much. You know, it's beautiful, but it's just kind of like a little bit out of the way, and it didn't really make sense. We had a little summer trailer at Lake Erie, so we'd go there, but super cool area. I love it down here. You probably will too. Right, talking a little bit about the housing in Stoney Creek. Where are they? What do they look like? What do they cost? All that good stuff. Well, there's a wide variety of different home types and prices in Stoney Creek. Part of that is because, just like Hamilton, Stoney Creek is kind of split into two from the escarpment. So lower escarpment, you have your residential areas, downtown Stoney Creek, and all those older homes that are around there. And then you go up the escarpment. Where it's different than Hamilton, though, is when you go up the mountain in Hamilton, generally going to be, there's going to be more residential areas, more neighborhoods, more communities. Stoney Creek, you go up the mountain, it's just going to be lots of countryside, farms, beautiful, you know, open spaces, stuff like that. And you're going to get some great views from Ridge Road. You can usually see right across the lake to Toronto from up there. And that's where I'm at. I'm up on the Stoney Creek countryside, and we love it up here. It's beautiful, but you know, if you're looking for a more residential, classic neighborhood home, downtown Stoney Creek's got some great spots, but those are generally going to be a lot older than maybe if you go a little bit more east towards Fruitland Road or 50 Road. There's tons of communities along that stretch. Now, looking up the data, right, the average sold price for Stoney Creek is around $780,000, and that's you know, down like 10% this past year. So for September, the average days on market is 45 days. So that's a bit of a stretch, right? That's a bit of a wait if you're listing your house, you know, and you're starting to panic. If it hasn't been 45 days yet, well, you haven't hit the average days on market. This is the most important thing. If you're listing your house, the pricing. I know you want to get that price from 2 years ago, you know, where you could have sold for, you know, $200,000 more than you can now. But the reality is we're in a different world, a different time, and a lot of sellers are trying to get those numbers right. They don't want to compromise and be a little bit more realistic. And alternatively, we have a lot of people who bought in that boom, and you know, interest rates went up, and it's really not that affordable for them anymore. So they're just trying to get their money back and get out of there. And unfortunately, those prices are, you know, far long gone in the past, right? Now let's talk a little bit about those areas, right? Downtown Stoney Creek, it's basically just a stretch of King Street, which turns into Hamilton, will take you right down to Dundas. It's got some great little shops, some good restaurants, the village, the powerhouse. So keeping those numbers in mind, let's talk about the appeal of Stoney Creek. Well, for one, it's great if you got to commute somewhere. There's great accessibility with QEW just along the lake right there. You got the lake to the south, then you got the nice town of Stoney Creek with downtown Stoney Creek and all the residential areas. And then you go up the escarpment and you got this beautiful countryside. You know, you could spend your day starting at Hutch's on the beach, going for a nice beach boardwalk. And then you can end your day, you know, at some wineries that are just close by, up the hill, Ridge Road Winery. There's lots of great things in Stoney Creek to explore. Trails, Bruce Trail, waterfalls, Devil's Punch Bowl. So many cool spots, right? And there's a lot of value here because it's, you know, a Hamilton suburb to the east. It's not in that crazy kind of high price area of like Burlington, Oakville, but it's still very accessible to those places because you're along the QEW. So people, if they're looking at, you know, maybe making the move somewhere in Southern Ontario, if they're looking at Burlington, Oakville, or they want to be, you know, closer to Toronto that way, Stoney Creek's a great alternative, especially if you have a family. You'll still be able to get on the highway easily, and there's everything you would want and need here for your family. So when you do combine, you know, the lifestyle, affordability, and the growth potential, as we can see, they're building everywhere. It's easy to see why buyers do like Stoney Creek. I think it's a great spot. So with location and proximity and accessibility to neighboring towns, the US, Toronto, up north, whatever, if that's, you know, a priority for you, I would strongly strongly consider Stoney Creek. You're right beside the QEW, minutes from the Confederation GO station. So, well, it's been starting soon for as long as I can remember. So keep that in mind. But, you know, if you want to go to a club, you know, you're going to have to go to Hamilton or make the trek to Toronto. But there's some great bars here. Shout out to the Powerhouse. If you're ever in town on Boxing Day, you come see me and my band. Absolutely rock the joint, okay? Now let's get back out there and see a little bit more of Stoney Creek before we wrap up.